Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for attending tonight. My name is Alberto, and the Chief Executive Officer of Olleyes. We have been developing this amazing platform since about 2 years ago. We then did some research and validation until December last year, when we finalized it at Wills-Eye Hospital, and we then launched officially at the American Glaucoma Society meeting. But it was very interesting, even during these situations, we have had a lot of interest, especially after all these changes in the policy regarding the disinfection of medical devices. And given the fact that we are very easy to perform, and you're gonna hear tonight from Dr. Mark, Justin, and Nate, we are very lucky to have them tonight. So I'm not going to speak too much. What I would like to do is drive you through the presentation and makes it actually as short as we can in order to jump in right away into questions that you might have. We are going to go to different steps, and we want to talk about the product. We want to talk about the solution. How are we offering the solution, and the experience of these amazing doctors have had so far. As you know, the practices have been suffering a lot with the COVID pandemic. There's a lot of stop in the flow. In fact, the eye care offices were the most affected. Number one, 79% decrease on the volume, on the flow into the office. So the question is, how are we going to solve this issue, right? And this is how we believe we can help. The Olleyes provides a platform that the tests are almost fully automated. It's an expense solution, so we can bring those testing modality to virtually everywhere: home, nursing home, schools, in the Army, to improve, and this is probably our main value proposition, how to improve the efficiency of the doctor, how in these so difficult situations we can help, and especially with this reimbursed teleophthalmology, then we can definitely help providing the tools for this telehealth plan. Specifically to do it, we have the two main products, the VisuALL S and the VisuALL H. The VisuALL S is built for the office, and it's basically what you guys have been using the most. And the VisuALL H is for the home, that we're going to talk briefly about it. Nate, you already have been using the device for a while. Can you just describe your experience, summarizing it?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said efficiency. It's brought us efficiency for the doctor. It's brought us efficiency for staff, in our case, students, but staff as well. It brings efficiency for the patient as well, to be able to have, multiple different options of where you take the test. I mean, whether it's in the exam room, whether it's in another room, whether it's in the patient's vehicle for kind of a drive-by testing. If they didn't want to come in and they wanted to, just have to do a visual field or whatnot, we've got the S version, kind of the in-office version, to be able to have that flexibility. I mean, we all have pre-testing rooms or special testing rooms where the visual field is, the OCT is, fundus photos are, and you have to walk patients into that room. And we all know with COVID-19 now that, special cleaning protocols after that happens when patients are in that room. So now to have the flexibility to be able to, patients already in their one exam room, we've done acuities or whatnot and other testing, and they never have to leave the chair and say, hey, we're going to do a visual field as you're sitting right there. I've ran this on myself many times. I've ran it on family members and most importantly on my patients. And to hear them say, wow, it's nice to be able to not have to put your chin in the chin rest. It's so, I've had many of them say, it's nice to not have to have the patch on the eye. You know, it's to be able to have both eyes open, nice and comfortable. You can kind of lean back. Don't have one eye closed, as we said. They've really enjoyed that. So efficiency, and also for the staff to be able to, you've got it in, you don't have to put a trial lens in front of them. We all know the hassle of digging through the trial lenses, and you never quite find the one that you're looking for. To be able to have the patient put this on and not patched and no trial lens in front of them has been efficient and convenient for staff as well. So I think it's a win on all levels, and just efficiency and convenience and flexibility. And that doesn't even talk about the cleaning protocol in terms of something that's very easy to clean and sterilize compared to the protocols for other instruments. So efficiency and convenience has been a key with this.
Thank you, Nate. So how is made the visual? The visual have three main components, which is the cloud where everything happens. So even if someone steals the device, if someone breaks the device, whatever happened to the device, you don't lose your data because the data is always stored in the cloud. The web app is how the doctor interact, right, with the system, and basically order the test, either record, print it, everything. And the headset, of course, is the testing part of it, and the one that the patient interacted with. The visual aids, as we explained before, is the one we use at the office, right? And it's a cloud-based. But then at home, then you can bring unlimited amount of headsets. So you can expand this to virtually every single of your patient or the ones who need the follow-up. Mark, can you tell us a little bit your experience? You have also been using the device for a bit.
So my experience honestly is exactly like Nate's. And the truth of the matter is, just watching you, Alberto, smiling like a proud father. When I actually got a hold of it, we were in quarantine, and I had my wife do it. And her first response was, you know, excuse my French, holy beep. She goes, this is ridiculous, because we've never done an AR. My kids missed all that. They're too old. So when we put it on, we're like, you know, you can see, and you can see, it was just that experience just made it feel like it was something a little bit unique and different. But then doing the test, the truth of the matter was, it was so much faster. I love the fact that it's like, you know, I could walk away, my staff is standing there doing it. And to Nate, what Nate said is so true. Literally today, I had a patient who was an IOP check. And he said, you know, this is the first time I've been out of the house since COVID. And I said, you know, you're really due for a visual field. I said, look, stay right here. I said, I'm going to go grab this new test that we have. It's the same way of doing the visual field, hitting the button. The difference is we're going to do it in the chair here. And more importantly, you know, it's going to be something that we can, like Nate said, we can clean it and you'll feel comfortable about it. And when it was a female patient, when she was done, she basically just said, she goes, that was one of the best experiences I've ever had doing a visual field. I said, nobody likes doing visual fields. She goes, oh, I hated visual fields. And so I almost kind of feel like patients are going to now, and my staff in the same way, feels that this is something that they want to do as opposed to, you know, not want to do it. And from a billing perspective, Alberto, we've had no problems whatsoever with billing. You know, we started doing this right when we first opened in March, and we've already been reimbursed across the board. So, because I know you're going to talk about billing, so I'm jumping ahead of you.
No, I think you just mentioned one also very important part of it. It's changing the perception that the patients have about visual field testing and other subjective testing modalities. So that definitely we're going after it. But it's just about getting into the office without disrupting you doctors, without disrupting your flow, without you taking to learn how a new report looks like, right? So we make it identical to the regular visual field test in the Humphrey or the Octopus, so it's easier to understand. And also, we have done a lot of reproducibility study. Justin, can you say something about the reproducibility? Have you repeated in your patients looking for this?
Yeah, so I think that's one of the things that I was most surprised about is how, great this printout is. You have the mean deviation there, you have the pattern standard deviation, you have your total deviation plot, pattern deviation plot. I mean, it really is simple to read. It's the same thing that, all of us have read before. In regards to reproducibility, we'll fully admit, and I've told you this, Alberto, that, I'm a skeptic. So initially I'm like, well, I've done Humphrey visual fields for, since I started out of optometry school and managing glaucoma forever. It's going to be tough for me to really, dig into this and use this for my glaucoma patients when I have a Humphrey visual field sitting here and we have a couple of them to use. But what I did is I did do some comparisons. I would run this and I, would compare it to actually visual fields that were done, 6 months ago, a year ago. And, fascinated how, comparable and matched up it would be looking at structure function. And then I would actually run a few patients if they were willing to do it, through this particular test. As Mark said, it's fast. So patients were willing to do that for me initially up front to run this quickly and then also to do a Humphrey field. And again, very surprised and can say that the reproducibility is very similar. I don't have a study on that, of course. You have those studies. This is just my clinical experience with it and just comparing them side by side. So I have been very impressed with that piece of it.
Thank you.
I mean, if I could say something to what Justin just said, I totally agree. But we all who have done visual fields, Nate, don't you step back sometimes and go, maybe they were falling asleep, or maybe the prescription was right. We've gotten the ring, the arcuate scotomas, the glasses scotomas. So I was the exact same way. I was like, well, is this right? And so I repeated multiple times on certain patients and got the exact same results. I also do want to say one other thing too. The story that I told about the patient was completely true. I've already gotten somebody online who chatted me and said they're not buying it. Alberto, I sent you that picture today of that patient doing the test today. So, true story. True story.
Yes, that's awesome. In addition to the visual field, of course, is the visual acuity, and we're currently using the Landau C, but we are already expanding into ETDRS and regular SNAP. The goal is to have you, choosing, or picking whatever, works better for you. And also the goal is to build a platform, initially a psychophysical platform, right? So we did the validation at Wills, right? And in 2019, we finished. This already have been sent for publication. We already received the reviewers' comments. We send it back. So now we're waiting, hopefully, for this publication to come to light. We had different projects all over the country. Summarizing, we would like to bring this to everywhere, guys. There is something that there's no doubt in our minds, at least in our team, and the expert opinion is that this is the new normality. We have to adapt to the new normality. And that's how we would like to help you guys. Helping you adapt into this new normality and trying to keep or even improve, right, your business. And to do that, one way that we see that is clearly supported by the government is the home evaluation of the visual function. And to do that, like Nate, what do you think about home? What do you think about nursing home? What do you think about in general about the remote assessment of these parameters?
Well, again, I think diversity is so key here. I mean, imagine, I'll just make an example for us. I mean, if the only thing that that I did or Justin did or Mark did was travel around and give CE lectures. If that was all we did and we did nothing else, we'd be hit pretty hard over the last 3 months, right? Because nobody's traveling and there's no conferences. If all you did is one area in optometry or ophthalmology, you're at risk of being hit hard. And I think this helps to diversify the ability to do testing. Again, visual field testing in different locations. In our clinics, we have 11 different locations at the Oklahoma College of Optometry. We do school screening, so we go to dozens of local schools around our area in about a 30 or 40 mile radius, and we do that every Friday morning. Some of our doctors. We go to nursing homes. We have local clinics in Tulsa with OU and OSU where we serve an underserved population. And it's just nice to be able to, all right, let's put this in the little, in its little case, it looks like a little computer case, and let's take it to the next clinic. And we've got a visual field that we can use wherever we are at, whether it's mission trips, in your clinic, outside your clinic, nursing homes. It's been very, very nice to have. Again, the flexibility, the efficiency, and the more that we dabble in different things, again, in the office, out of the office, medical eye care, optical eye care, I think the stronger and the healthier the practice is. So having that at-home platform and out of the office platform, I think is very key. Dr. Frucci, I think, had a question I saw in the chat there. How long does it take to do a 24-2? Again, when you put this on, you're not testing the right eye and then you're testing the left eye. It's got both eyes open, but it's testing them individually. You can go back and forth, right eye, left eye, right eye, left eye. In my experience, Mark, Justin, you can comment as well. To me, it's about a 6 to 8 minute test total. It's about 3 to 4 minutes per eye. And yet we do both eyes, obviously. So it's been taking me anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes to do the testing. I'll let you guys comment on that.
Yeah, 100%. I literally, my colleague who hadn't used it, I put her down and I hit the timer. And what I always do, and I don't know if you guys do this, but I let it go through the instructions. This is your pad, click here, this is what it's going to look like. It was 9 minutes and 47 seconds from the minute I put it on her face until the minute she was done with the 24-2.
Yeah. And I was talking strictly test time from first stimulus to done. You had a little instructions there. That's exactly right.
Yeah, very similar. Nothing really to add except, that I would encourage any of you, if you start to use this, to do what Mark just said. It's really, there's almost no instructions needed. It's put it on, watch the instructions, do it. It's pretty straightforward. So 10 minutes is what I say from start to finish, not the actual test, but for them to read the instructions and go through everything.
It's funny is I equated it to a patient once the other day. She goes, well, I don't know, how much time do I have? I said, it's kind of like an Instant Pot. And I don't know if anybody on here has been cooking in an Instant Pot, but it always says 5 minutes, but it takes like 15 minutes to get the pressure up to cook for 5 minutes. So I'm like, the test is like 6 minutes, but like an Instant Pot, you'll probably be on it for 10. So it's my analogy. I'm sticking with it.
There you go. I like it. I like it.
The other reimbursement it's no difference, right? You can use, or maybe there's a difference. In fact, there are two codes that are the less used in the eye care. One is gonioscopy, and the second is visual field. The average amount of visual field per doctor in US is 200 tests, period, in a year. That is very, very little. Of course, there are people who do more, people who do less. And we believe that the reason why people underutilize this code is because it's so cumbersome, because it's unreliable, because patients' perception about and compliance with the test. So that's one of our mission. We want to change that perception. In fact, when we sent the device out, we sent it to a sticker for the patients to understand that that office performed virtual reality medicine and get them more engaged. With time, we can add also part of education, etc. But I would like to hear from you, Mark. Have you have any issue with the reimbursement?
No, not at all. None.
Yeah. So what right now what's going to happen is that you can not only use the 92 or 83, but actually you can also use the 81 and the 82 because you have the tools. And we're going to learn with time how to really use this device and use this platform in order to make your efficiency or your testing flow way more efficient. This is relatively new. In January 2019, CMS came up with these 3 permanent codes for the remote evaluation of patients with health issues, with chronic. It's about chronic management. It is not a specific for any single test. It's a capitated code that includes every single one. So if you want to use it for visual fields, you can use it. If you want to use it for intraocular pressure, you can use it. It's totally global. Of course, the device can you can take advantage of all the tax credit and ADA. So in general, guys, we have an amazing platform, automated, comfortable, fully disinfectable, accurate, and already validated with high and very good results. And what we would like to do now is open for questions. So feel free to ask anything. We have the experts here that have been using this for a while already and can ask and answer honestly whatever you.
And I'd add to that, Alberto, kind of Mark was hitting on it before, it's automated, it's comfortable, it's disinfectable, it's efficient, but it's, as Mark was saying, it's cool. The first time I put it on, I kind of felt cool, going, I've got this, I'd never done virtual reality before. And I put this on, I'm like, wow, this is incredible. And then you get into the test and again, lean back. I was in the recliner the first time I took it when I got this device, a few months ago and went, this is comfortable. This is awesome. So cool as well. Right, Mark?
Yeah. I mean, I think the other thing that we kind of found was really beneficial is that how the picture of the guy in the beanbag, I mean, literally having a patient just be able to relax, not have to cramp down. And we've actually had a couple patients that we were considering doing the visual field on, but they were really limited just by virtue of the fact of their own handicaps. And, we're calling them back. And to that same point, you were talking about accessibility. We're talking now about maybe opening up things that we didn't do. While things are, not as busy, is going to patients' houses. We're offering virtual, telehealth exams, but we're also talking about going out and having a technician go to somebody's house, do the visual field, because everything is on the cloud. We'll have those results, and then we can call the patient or set up an appointment for a telehealth examination and go over the results. Even contemplating bringing like a tonopan, checking their pressure for a lot of these glaucoma patients. So it really does add it opens things up, especially now, where we start looking at how are we all going to start practicing? Because, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw, but that there's another swine, an H1N1 version that's coming out of China. I mean, so now we're screwed. We are screwed, people. This pandemic, this is the way we're going to be doing things for a long time. Everybody that's on our call muted and us looking at each other.
Yeah. I just wanted to make up one more point because you touched on it. The fact is too, with our glaucoma patients, most of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are of older age, elderly, and they do have issues with moving around. And what I've found a lot of value with this is in our clinic, when they're in an exam lane, it's not a short distance to go from the exam lane to where our visual fields are located at. And to be able to keep the patient in the room and not have them have to move any more than they need to has been, one advantage. And I've had a few patients comment on that they haven't had to worry about that. The technicians haven't had to worry about trying to get their chin in the machine. And so that piece of it has been really nice for a few of ours as well.
Yeah, I've been following my father-in-law, my wife's dad. He has glaucoma, moderate to advanced in one eye and mild to moderate in the other. And I've been following him since 2011, and he just dreads doing a visual field. And I did this on him when he came down about a month ago, and he took it laying in bed. He was laying flat, had the device on, and he goes, "This is great. This is the best visual field that I've taken in 9 years. I'll take this test, Nate. I'm never doing the other one again. When I take visual field, it's going to be this one." So it's just nice to be able to have that flexibility and take it wherever.